just put some effing weight in here. Alrighty guys, I'm Hunter Wilkins and this is Father and Forge. Actually, I'm borrowing my wife's nail studio room today to do this video just because it's got better lighting and AC and I don't have to be outside to do it, so that's why I'm doing it from in here. So deal with it. It's a little bit awkward angle. When I get into the video, I'm going to angle down to the table so you can see what I've got laid out here. Basically, I got an Amazon package right here. I've had some trouble in the past with doing center lines on knives, and I find it's really helpful to use the blue Dicom and do some markings on blades to figure out like where you want your edge to meet or where you want your like clip on your spine to be ground to. There's a lot of reasons to mark a center line on a blade and on a handle, and it really does make a big difference. Now if you have a high level of skill and you're able to do it just by eyeballing, more power to you. I know a bunch of guys in my knife maker group and on Instagram in general that they just eyeball it. They have a great eye for it. They can do it. Me personally, I'm fairly inexperienced on the grinder. I have no shame in saying that. I'm fairly new to knife making in general. So that being said, I want to give myself the best edge that I can, figuratively and literally. So what I have been doing is using calipers to try to mark my center lines on edges and stuff if I'm not beveling them on the anvil. The problem with these were super cheap on Amazon, and they work, but they don't lock. So when you're trying to scribe, it can get bumped a little bit and move around. So that's not good. That's not good for scribing. If you get calipers, I recommend getting something with metal tips and ones that lock. Whether they're digital or manual, it doesn't really matter. That's your personal preference. I like digital, but it doesn't. Like I said, it doesn't matter. Now I modified these. I actually took 2 brass pins and sharpened one of them, and made one just a slight bit longer than the other, so that I can run down the side of my knife and scribe a line. It works, but it doesn't work great. And like I said, with this not being able to lock, it moves around and you don't get an accurate line. So what I've seen a lot of people use are height gauges, and some people say like you don't need it, and I agree. I don't think you necessarily need the height gauge. I just kind of like it. I like the concept of it, and I wanted to try it, so I bought a cheap height gauge from Amazon, and this is forgive me if I mispronounce it. You can correct me in the comments. It's a it's a Hyuduo height gauge. So that's what I'm doing. I'll post a link to the Amazon page in the description here, and we'll go from there. So I know my lighting's kind of off right here, but it's actually all focused down here, so this is going to look a little bit better in just a second, I promise. Alright, so now that you can see what I'm working with, this will make a little bit more sense. Now excuse the nail lamps and that kind of stuff. Speaking of, if you're interested in seeing some of my wife's stuff, she does some really incredible work. Let me give you an example here. Let's see. Got some press-ons that she's done in the past. I think those are really cool. But that's just a small glimmer of the stuff that she does. But these were cool. Little texture stuff going on there. Anyway, she does some really good work. You can find her on Instagram at Zendan Danielle. I'll put a thingy right about here, so that you can find her at Zendan Danielle. And I thank her for letting me use her space today to keep me from sweating my butt off. All right, we're gonna get right into this. Simple package, a lot smaller than I thought it was gonna be, but let's see. Alright, so digital height gauge. It doesn't even give me the brand on the package. That's how cheap this is. But you can take a look at it. It looks like it will do the job that I want it to do. So, here we go. going to use this knife here. What kind of knife maker would I be if I didn't use one of my own knives to open a package, you know? That should be good. Does it not come with a battery? Okay, so first off, right off the bat, does not come with battery, just so you know, but that's okay. I can still get a reading, so that will be fine. So this is the unit. It does have magnets in the bottom. Not sure how strong they are. I can feel it even through the sheath of the knife, so that's good. That's not bad. Oh, there we go. Look, pick that one up. It's good. Not super strong, but fairly strong. That'd be good just to give yourself a little bit of anchoring. So not too impressed there, but it's not that bad. So this is basically what you would do with this. So got my knife. I've got it all covered in blue Dykem right now, ready to be scribed. So let's just take a look and see. So I'm gonna put my height gauge right on top of it, and then I'm gonna go to half of that measurement. So if I had the battery in, this would be a little bit easier, but not that big of a deal. So that should be about half. I know you can't see that. That should be about half of what I was at. And then I'll take this. Actually, let me lock it first. So this locks. That's the big benefit of this too. So I can lock that. That's not going anywhere. That's fantastic. Alright, I'm going to take this and go around my knife. I want to kind of take it around the whole thing. I'm going to do a couple passes here, just so I really get a nice clear line. Especially in the areas where I know that I'm actually going to be grinding to a center point. I really want a nice clear scribe line. And the lighting in my shed is not the greatest either, so that looks pretty good. So I'm gonna flip the blade and do the same thing. This might, if there's any kind of variance, this will give me two lines to work towards. And then I can true it up from there, and I'll know that where my true center is. And we'll see how far apart those are. So those were actually very, very close. I don't know if you can see that, but I have. There you go. You can kind of see that there. I have a center line all around my blade that I can now use as a guide to. When I do my bevels, when I grind in my bevels on this, and when I grind in, I'm actually going to grind this clip to not sharp, but at least something. This is also good too if you're doing handle scales, or not scales, but doing like a hidden tang handle. You have your wood block on here. You can take this and put it on top of something flat, and then basically find your center point on your handle material and grind this, or scribe in a center line on that too. That helps a lot. So for what it is, that's actually going to work out pretty great. I wonder if this takes the same battery as this. No, it does not. That would have been cool, because I have extra of these. That definitely worked a lot better than the cheap calipers that I got. So as you can see, it's a pretty handy tool to have. I know a lot of you are probably just saying like you can just use two calipers, but it doesn't. You can. But I saw this and I saw a lot of people using these, and I liked the concept, and I felt like it was just a good, easy way to do it. And this was not that expensive. I think it was a little over $30. But again, I'll post the Amazon page in the description here so that you can see it for yourself on Amazon. But as far as being a customer and how I feel about this, it's not. Let's just go over some of the details of it real quick. This worked exactly as I needed it to. However, I will say that it is definitely not the best quality that you could buy. This base, I feel like if this was a lot heavier, that would be much better. Now I know it's got magnets in it, but even still, like, just put some effing weight in here. That's how I feel about that. Scribing point is hardened steel, and I did not see any kind of like stuff coming off of here, so that's good. That's what I want. My calipers, I did not realize were carbon fiber tips when I bought them, so that was a big issue with those for me. And then I tried to modify them, which kind of works, but not as good as this. This worked way better. Not coming with a battery is a big downside for me. I don't know if it was supposed to come with a battery. I'll have to double check. The locking mechanism is easy to use. Works pretty damn good. The measurements on the actual ruler part are easy to see. Well, maybe not on camera, but they're easy to read, and they look like they would work out pretty good. But the bottom is inches, and the bigger numbers are actually going to be your millimeters. So your 10 is obviously going to be a centimeter. If you know me personally, you know that I prefer to do everything in metric. Unfortunately, growing up in America, I still have the mentality where when I talk about measurements and stuff, I'll usually refer in inches or feet or whatever, just because that's what I've had to grow up with. So like mentally in my mind, I can visualize those measurements a little bit better. However, metric is the way to go. That's just that. Metric is so much easier, so much more precise, and so much easier to calculate conversions and everything. 3 feet is a yard. Like, what the hell is that? 12 inches is a foot. Who came up with this crap? Seriously. 1,000 millimeters is a meter. 10 millimeters is a centimeter. Makes worlds more sense. So I'm getting off track here. My final verdict on this is a handy tool. This definitely did what I wanted it to do. I have no problems with the functionality of the tool whatsoever. It should have come with a battery. I hope that watching this, you understand that you're not going to get a battery with this, and you'll have to rely on the visual cues here, which is not a problem. I just would like you to be aware of that. The base is not as heavy as I would like it. It's a mostly light, they said carbon fiber, but it looks pretty plastic to me. I don't know. I wouldn't look at this and go, wow, that's carbon fiber. It just looks like plastic, but I could be wrong. But it does have magnets in the base. They could be a little bit stronger, but again, I'm not really concerned about the strength of the magnets. I just kind of wish this was a little bit heavier. It is very light, but as I said, it did the job. Hardened steel scribing point. That was a big plus for me. I wasn't going to buy this if it didn't have that. So that's a big deal. That makes all the difference in the world. And being able to lock. So the locking mechanism is easy to use and works just fine. You barely even tighten it, and it's not going anywhere. It's not slipping. So that's cool. I like that. Otherwise, seems fairly durable. I don't feel like if I drop this, it's going to break. But it is made of very light material. So, all right. So that being said, that's that. This is what I got. This is what it did, and it performed as I expected, and it performed well. So that is that. And you can take my advice on it or not. It doesn't matter. But that's it. So this was pretty cool. So that's it. This is the once again I'm gonna murder the brand name Hyuduo. Hyuduo. It spelled like Hyundai. Hyuduo. Hyuduo height gauge, digital height gauge, range 0 to 150 millimeters or 6 inches, which this can actually go. No, it can't. It can go a little bit more. It can go like a centimeter more than the max of 150 millimeters. So that's. But I'm not going to be scribing things up here. So that was that. Thank you so much for watching. Check me out on Instagram. Check me out on Patreon. If you're not following me on Instagram, you're definitely missing out. I keep saying that in the past few videos because I really feel like there is so much more content that I put on Instagram that if you're not following me, you're definitely missing out on a lot of the processes that I go through. Other than that too, we just had a hammer in at my buddy Gas Forge workshop, and it was fantastic. I had a blast the entire time. I did put a video up of that, I think, yesterday. So that was fun. If you haven't checked that one out, definitely watch that one, because that can give you an idea of some of the stuff we got going on when we put our little get-togethers going on. And that was super fun. So anyway, like and subscribe. That means the most to me. Check me out on Instagram, check me out on Patreon, and that's it. I will see you guys in the next video.